This is Comic Picks by the Glick. Hey, Jason.
And I'm your host. Yeah, I'm your host, Jason Glick.
Hey, Jason Glick. This is pretty good. Pretty good. We're actually recording on Easter evening. You know.
Yeah, because it's Easter and we all had better things to do right now.
That's right.
Well, before this, anyway.
Yep. So what's going on? What do you have for us this week?
Okay, well, I just want to let our listeners know that for the next couple of weeks or so, we're going to be going to movie tie-in overtime because, you know, like we got like a couple comic book related movies coming out over the next month or so. So we got Kick-Ass, we got The Losers, and we got Iron Man. And as we all know, I'm a complete and total whore for tying in this podcast for whatever comic related movie or TV show is coming out at the time. So like, hey, I'm going to be talking about all the stuff that's that'll be hitting the silver screen over the next month or so.
Hey, think of it this way: if you haven't read these, this is like an education. This is like a course in what's to come.
Yeah, because like, hey, even if the movie isn't as good as its trailer, then hey, you can at least find out whether or not the graphic novel that it's based off of is worth checking out.
That's
or,
right.
Like, comic line, whatever. Yeah, and like in this case. Like I say, I'm starting out with Kick-Ass because it comes out on April 16th. And hey, let me tell you, like, short version is, it pretty much sucks.
It doesn't kick ass?
No, it doesn't. In fact, I mean, it's got some witty parts to it, but overall, it's like, I was completely disappointed by this. I mean, a lot of the word of mouth online is basically said that it's dumb, it's stupid, it's trashy, it's racist, and to be honest, they're pretty much right because, reading this, it's like, and I liked Mark Miller and John Romita Jr.'s previous collaboration, Wolverine, Enemy of the State, both volumes. I mean, it's just dumb, glorious superhero action. It's just Wolverine, like turned into a bad guy, find a bunch of the Marvel Universe's greatest heroes, killing one of them at least, and then eventually getting his mind back, and then taking the fight to the bad guys, and it's just like good over the top stuff, a lot of fun, and I'd recommend like picking that up as opposed to this. Kick-Ass, on the other hand, has like a unique premise because like it's not something it's probably been done before, but I can't remember if any particular title that's done this off the top of my head. Because while there's plenty of stories of like regular guys trying to become superheroes, like in like a Marvel or DC universe, Kick-Ass basically has a regular high school kid just deciding, hey, you know what? Why can't I be a superhero? And just like gets like a spandex wetsuit, goes out and starts trying to fight crime in the real world, such as it is. Well, it's like it's a nice premise, but the execution is so joyless and on the nose that I honestly really couldn't get into it. I mean, it's available in a $25 hardcover, and it's you see the problem. Okay, let's start with the main character, Dave Lazeski. I mean, he's your average high school kid, like a horny comic book loving geek, and there's really not a whole lot to interest you in him besides the fact that he's the main character. I mean, like he thinks his high school biology teacher is hot. He's got hot for a girl who thinks he's a total creep. Dull and boring that he figures like, hey, sort of makes more exciting than anyone else has done before. Why don't I give it a shot? So he does. In the first issue, his ass kicked so badly that he is in the hospital for months and months and months, or a couple months, and eventually his ass kicked so badly that he just decides like, oh, I don't want to do this again. Like my dad was put out by this. Like I have to suffer through all the bills and therapy. What? I don't want to do this anymore. Then the next panel after he decides, oh, what the hell? I like that he does succeed this time by going out and saving a guy from a savage beating, and wouldn't you know it, someone's videotaping this to put up on YouTube, and suddenly he's an internet sensation. and then things go on from there. Okay, and things get even more ludicrous once the the series' main plot thread gets takes hold, and Kick-Ass is recruited by Big Daddy and Hit Girl in order to help fight the mob. Now it's been a decent bit of quasi realistic wish fulfillment up until this point. But then when the series goes into full action movie overload and just kind of oh, what the hell? And then at the end, Dave, Dave suddenly realizes the futility of being a superhero in light of all the bloodshed and violence he's partaken in, and and he's also realizes it hasn't gotten him anywhere at the end. All he's got is his memories, and it's just one of those things where you could say that that writer Mark Millar is holding up a quasi-realistic mirror to fanboy desires to be a superhero, but you look at this and it's one hand it starts off as real wish fulfillment, but then his depressing and mean-spirited end just gives the feeling of well, what was the point of this? I mean, it reeks of an ending that was given by that was set up by someone who says, "Oh, you know what? If something bad and tragic happened to our hero at the end, it's that makes my work that much more deeper and more meaningful." And that's the ending. That's the kind of stuff that this ending reeks of. Just the fact that if it had been a more happy ending, it wouldn't have redeemed the series, but at least been a lot more palatable to take. I mean, the series reminds me of nothing so much as this anime series I watched a while back called Welcome to the NHK, which basically shows you a truly pathetic individual like a hikikomori, someone who's tragically scared of interacting with the outside world, and then he's eventually led to become an otaku through this one girl who tries to help him and his next door neighbor. And it's a very wicked, mean-spirited, no, not necessarily mean-spirited, just mean take on this on the current state of fanboyism in Japan. And it's one thing, but the thing is, it's actually a lot of fun to watch because it's frankly hilarious, but it's hilarious also underlined by the fact that, hey, you know what? It's this thing would be really depressing if it wasn't so funny, because you watch a show and if you are any kind of fanboy, you will see yourself reflected in this. Kick-Ass, you look at Dave in there and you think, my God, man, he's such a pathetic wuss. I'm glad I'm not as bad as him. Miller just completely overstates the mark by making Dave as pathetic as he is. Another thing Miller overstates in his quest to show what superheroes would be like in real life is his dialogue. Now, when he came onto the scene in the Authority and Ultimate X-Men, his dialogue and his constant name dropping of real world celebrities into his stories was kind of clever and a bit refreshing. Now it just comes off as plain old tired, because I swear it's the series didn't have Miller's his dialogue now just reads really tone deaf and on the nose. Instead of showing you what the characters are like, he tells you exactly what they're feeling in the in the dialogue boxes, and it's more grating whenever he's trying to talk about when he tries to insert real comic book stuff into the show. When Dave talks about how great Joss Whedon's Astonishing X-Men is in the first issue, it doesn't come off as an honest as a character as Dave honestly thinking this. It comes off as Mark Millar sucking Joss Whedon's cock in this in this issue. And it's I look at this and I wouldn't bet Whedon is kind of oh, that I really didn't, that's kind of embarrassing, man. It's you really don't need to talk about me like that. It's ridiculous, and it's just painful to read a lot of times. I mean, I think at this point, Miller just needs to just step back and just reassess himself. But, or at least better yet, I get the feeling that with stuff like this, he might just be better off suited to doing big, dumb, glorious superhero epics from here on out. As for the artist, John Romita Jr., he comes through this relatively unscathed. I mean, he's a great artist, and the fact that the series was delayed for so long, I'm willing to bet is mainly because Miller just took so damn long writing it. But because Romita, his art, it's he's a good aggressive caricature here, and the action scenes are generally really well handled. And but overall, it's I look at this and I think his artistry can probably be put to better use elsewhere. Overall, it's I look at this but I will say that some of the bits are clever, such as after Kick-Ass has his ass kicked in his first outing, he loses his wetsuit, and after people hear about this, they find out that his class thinks he's gay because he was found in the New York's West End, and he was he got beat up because he was hustling his ass to his clients. And this one girl he likes, who thought he was a creep before him, takes an interest in him because she thinks he's gay, and just develops a relationship with him with that. That thing is just that eventually is turned into garbage, but it's a clever setup. And also Hit Girl, she's a cute character in that she's a 10-year-old psychopath who goes around killing all the bad guys with ruthless efficiency. It's you've probably seen her in the trailers, and I have no doubt that it's probably going to be, she probably look a lot better on screen than the comic. In fact, the trailers do actually seem to present a more energetic and enjoyable version of the Kick-Ass world than what I've seen in the comic book. And also, I want to note that I'm willing to bet that Nicolas Cage just signed on to this, if only because of the fact that if he didn't, he would have gone on to just do it Big Daddy to become what Big Daddy is in the comic. And I don't want to go into spoilers, but assuming they keep the twist of his character alive in the movie, then yeah, it's I can just see that if he signed on to this, because if he didn't, then Nicolas Cage would have done this in real life eventually. Yeah, but still, it's the trailers make it seem like it's going to be a more enjoyable movie than the graphic novel was. But well, we know how trailers can be sometimes.
Yep.
Yeah. So look for my thoughts on this eventually once. And because if the guys who know Podcast Room Men don't want to talk about it, then I'll probably write up my thoughts after I see the movie, which will hopefully be more entertaining than I'll get a more entertaining movie for $9 or $10 than I did for buying the hardcover graphic novel for $25. Well, not 25, 16 from Amazon. Anyway, so on that note, well, there's plenty of other better stuff that Miller and John Romita Jr. have done, and I recommend you buy that instead of Kick-Ass. Okay, on that note, we're going to call it a night, and we'll be back in 2 weeks' time to talk about a much better series of graphic novels that have been adapted into a movie. I talk, of course, of The Losers. All right?
All right.
Okay. So see you next time.
See you next time.